Okay. Alright. Here we are. Episode 6 of Unfolding the Garden. Give me 1 second. Okay. Alright, so last time, I think we went all the way up to February 2014. And yeah, I believe we looked at the build I had submitted. I think this was the build I sent in to Indiecade. So yeah, we'll take a look at this and jump into March. Hey, Gruz Vire. Yes, yeah. I was camping Wednesday, Thursday. Went to Starved Rock. It was only like an hour and a half outside of Chicago, and that was really nice. It was really very rejuvenating. And currently back working on the game. So today's dev stream is going to be a little bit shorter, because what I like to do is start working on some of the bugs. So we've got currently like wool wrapping cubes. The duplicates are not in the correct order. It was working, but I think Arthur's made some changes to make it more efficient, and I think that feature's gone. It's one of those things where, you improve things and then you like forget a few stuff. So I gotta go through that today, and I need to take the time to catch up on the world wrapping system. Level loading chugs a lot, especially World 044, and whenever you go into the world where you have to grow one. So that's a big issue. So this is not this does impact the game, because it does screw up like the later part of the game. You do have to carry boxes from one world to another, and this, you can't do it with this. Level loading's obviously a big issue. UI, apparently you can't even open up the control settings, so you can't like remap buttons and all that. Oh, you know what? I think there's button prompts. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we will do this after this. So let's go to. All right, let's just pick up. Let's go to February 12th, 2014, February 12th, and let's take a look at that build of the game, and we'll start with there. So yeah, it's good to be back. How's everybody been? All right, let's take a look at this new game. All right, so I moved the controls to the beginning, and you cannot skip. You can't skip this. This was some of the feedback that I got. I remember at GDC, people were like, please make this skippable. Okay, so this is the build I believe I sent in to No, wait. I think I had submitted a game to Indie Mega Booth at PAX East. So that was PAX East Indie Mega Booth. That was April 2014, and in February 2014, I went to, excuse me, my first game event outside of Chicago, which was Indiecade East in New York City. That was in February of 2014, and I remember finding out a little bit before that I had gotten accepted into the Indie Mega Booth at PAX East. So I think the build that I sent to Indie Mega Booth was a little before this one, but anyway, this is the one I was showing at Indiecade. I didn't get accepted into the festival. You know, they have like the official showings. But there was a show and tell. No, it wasn't even a show and tell. Or maybe it was a show and tell. Yeah, basically you could like sign up to show your game. Like if you weren't part of the main festival, there were these like 30-minute to 1 hour sessions on the last day. They just had a bunch of tables, and you can reserve one of the tables and have your computer there and show the game. And I think this is what I showed. So some of the very first articles written about the game, which I think Game Zone was the first one to write about it, they played with this version. And on that trip, I also met Rami and Alex Bruce, made Anti-Chimera. I got him to play the game, and he gave me a lot of really good feedback. So let me walk through this kind of. I'll talk about like how I intended for it to be, right? So you'd start off here in this room, and you'd come up here and open up this door. Oh yeah, okay. So we got these lights already looking. I think that's Bloom. Must have gotten rid of them. Alright, so you come downstairs. Here's another door. Let's open that. Here's a box. You pick it up. And you come out here. Okay, so that was the intended pathway. Now I'll tell you what everybody did. So, a few things. And they did talk about how I changed it later, but one of the things that's bad about this is it teaches you to press. Oh no, wait. See, it doesn't matter because it gives you all the instructions right at the beginning. So this was giving you the instructions at the beginning, like you saw how you could change gravity and all that. Eventually, when I got rid of the instructions, this needed to change. So a lot of people thought this was a button, so I got rid of that. It was just a light. But yeah, okay, so you press this, open this up. Now you'll notice that here the inside of the door is also blue. I changed it to white, and that's because you can have multiple lines that go to open a door, and if it's well, you know, it has to be white, otherwise you'd have to choose one to color. All right, one of the things that a lot of people did after they picked up the box was instead of going straight ahead to put the box here, a lot of people would go up the stairs. And I think that makes sense. So people like stairs in video games. If they see stairs, they just go up them. But I think if you're also looking at it from like where they're coming from, the like people will have a really short memory when they're playing games. But what happens is they will see the stairs first, right? It's like you start seeing the stairs when you're here and here. Like you don't see, and it's really hard to miss the switch. So a lot of people start seeing the stairs and then they just keep their eyes on there and they follow it upstairs, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute, I've been here before. And then that's when they like come back down. But yeah, so eventually I got rid of the stairs here. All right, so this was where, so you had to do, the idea was you had to get down here, right? So you hit here, like force people to change gravity. And you press this button. Now this is not good. So that's lighting up that door. You can see there's one blue light here. Problem is this does not show. This is like not very good at showing the cause and effect, right? Like I press this down and it's like, well, what did this do? I don't know. And then I'm also forcing the player to take the same path back. All right. Okay. So here we go. Here's this. All right, so you can see these early portals. Alright, we got the light source. So I don't go very far with this. I'll just... But, you know, it was sort of when I started having these windows to have a reason for the light source, people were like, oh, you know, that looks really cool. Like, I like to go outside. This was very tedious, this puzzle. I need to get rid of this. Oh yeah, you can see I just did not have a... There just wasn't anything inside the door. Yeah, again, you see, like, I think I talked about this last time, the difference between good backtracking and bad backtracking. The good backtracking is where you see something and it looks cool, but you also know the way forward, so you're like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna come back later and look at this. Bad backtracking is this right here, which is like what did this do? Am I supposed to, you know, go forward, but like maybe I missed something earlier, so you kind of walk back thinking you did something wrong. Like, did I miss anything? No. Let's keep going. So yeah, that's bad backtracking. I mean, you're supposed to come back here, and then it's like, oh right. See, now you've got a blue and a green switch. That's a funky door. Oh yeah. Here's, look at this body of water. What the? Oh, very Cairo. I do like the way they overshoot when these discs are coming up. Open up a pathway. I don't think Alex even got to here. I think he just spent all his time talking about that early area, but I learned a lot that way. Hey! Yeah, I think that might have been where I got it from, actually. I think I might have gotten that from Bastion. Yeah, I do miss having these point lights. So it was like here, and you had to sort of figure out... Alright, so obviously you needed to like press a red button. And I did... Oh, right, okay, so... This was back when I was still having a lot of puzzles based on perspective, so All right, I think what you had to do was come down here and press this. Or maybe not. Oh, right. Oh, this is annoying. So you had to... Okay. I guess you had to come down here and look at this. Alright, so that's like the... Since this was like... I think that's that. And I think this is place sign. And... now that I'm playing this, it's just... This puzzle is just really annoying. Just recap for the audience, for people that are interested in how the game evolved over time. It's actually kind of like the beginner's guide, where it's like playing through old builds. I mean, for me too, it's also, it's like I forgot a lot of this stuff early on. It's like a really long post-mortem for the game. Let's see here. Just kind of looking at these early versions. Alright, I think so. Once you get everything lined up, then you have to go here. Alright, then a door opens up. Huh. You can see also here, it's like you had to go through these doors, but it's not really like, I wouldn't design anything like this anymore, because that doesn't look like it leads into an area. Like, I would definitely have it, I would put this wall like so, yeah, like you see, this is, I would, if I were to do this now, I would, instead of having the wall here, I would actually put it here, right? Because then that way, because I think this wall here ends that way, and you can see a bit into the hallway, which gives, because otherwise player just think of that as a dead end. And so this part was also really confusing. Like, again, I don't design areas to be like this anymore, where it's sort of not, this is just kind of like a random space. But this kind of stuff, these kind of rooms are very confusing. Oh, yeah. Huh. Now, I think this actually took you to another room. Oh, right. So this is, remember, there's still this version of the game. Right, I gotta put this, like, blue block here, and then you, like, pick up the green one. Now, one of the things that I got rid of was this space over here on this side. Eventually, what I did was I just had this block extend all the way out here to kind of fill this gap. The reason is because I noticed a lot of people, they'd put the blue block here, and then they'd bring the green block over here, and then they're like, oh, where's the blue block? And of course, there was no reason that this gap needed to be on the other side, so that was, it was like one of the things I did just to eliminate the possibility of people making mistakes. Oh yeah, you have to be pretty much perfect here. Oh yeah, so see now, there we get this red button. But again, like, the problem with all this, it was like, eventually I realized that simply getting the door open meant you solve the puzzle, right? So it's like, what's the point of opening up the door just to press this? Because also, once you, establish this as a pattern, it's no longer interesting to have the door open, because it's like the door open and you know what's behind it, and it's much more exciting to have a door open and not know what's on the other side. And again, this is like forcing you to walk around here. Yeah, see, this is really confusing. It's like hard to know which is the way out. Alright, I do want to just see what is here. Let's solve. How challenging is the game going to be when it's finished? Hopefully just the right amount of challenging. Challenging that, you know, enough that it feels rewarding but isn't too frustrating, but also not too boring. No, I think this path opened up. Yeah. Now, the reason why I had this instead of having it, like Talos Principle, you just see it on the screen. Like, I think in Talos Principle, you just get stuff like, you know, the HUD kind of tells you, like it shows sort of up here how many you've got. But I decided to have it on the doors instead. Oh, yeah. Huh. Anyway, here is some of the sort of, yeah, you can see here it's starting to get, you know, with kind of these exterior levels areas. I've not heard of the game Dujana. Yeah. That's what happens when you fall off. Yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, it kind of is, except I'm both, oh, that's the door I came from. Yeah, this looks like really early. You can also notice, like, look at the portals, right? Because this is with render textures, but notice how it's like slightly blurry. And when I walk through it, it becomes a lot crisper. Oh yeah, I had the, see, here's like a tree. See, I'm not, no, this is not very good level design. I'm not even sure where I'm supposed to go. Technically, it is saved. It has been saved. Alright, let's see. Oh, okay, so you just kind of walk up here. And here's a door to another puzzle. Oh, right, so this is the... Right. The new portals are with sensor buffers. And that's involved redoing like the entire rendering system. And so now you get to remember the pattern, right? Because I think I showed this last time. It's like, okay, so that symbol goes with orange. This symbol goes with green. This symbol goes with purple. I ended up getting rid of this puzzle. It was very, this is like a very missed puzzle. And there was this like lock that you had to open up. And ultimately, I think the feedback was that it just did not feel like, it did not feel right with the rest of the game. Oh yeah, it just opened up into multiple places. Yeah, but like from here I have no idea where to go. Ah, okay. So yeah, see, I had to. This is really annoying. Okay, so I gotta watch this. Do we remember what we did? So see, I've got to go back. That's the kind of puzzle you find in a AAA game. Like Dishonored 2 has a bunch of puzzles like that. Yeah, because with stencil buffers, if you're using that for rendering the portals, every material needs to have a number so that you can decide which ones are shown and which ones aren't. All right, so purple is the cross, yellow is diamond, we got orange, and green is fast forward. Okay. Purple cross, yellow diamond, green fast forward. Purple cross, yellow diamond. But yeah, those are the kinds of puzzles that you see in AAA games. So like I'm so slow I can kind of. Alright. It's like, oh, green's fast forward. I do not do game jams. I've not done a single game jam. I am doing the 10,000 hour game jam. Oh yeah, so the thing with this puzzle that I ended up getting, I also got rid of this because you can brute force this, right? Like, and if you have an option to brute force something, people will do it. Ah, here, this is cool. This is cool. Right, the idea was this room is like much bigger on the inside than from the outside. Hello? Yeah, but people will do it. I don't think that took you anywhere. None of this worked. All right. Well, let's move on to the next puzzle. So, yeah, they're all render textures. So, this is GDC 2014. It was March 17th, March 21st. All right. So, after Indiecade East, I made some changes, made some improvements to the game. And this, let's see, March 3rd, this is built from March 16th, 2014, so this would have been right before GDC. All right, so I want to show you pre-GDC and post-GDC. Interest in doing game jams? Not really, yeah. It takes me a long time to do stuff, so. Alright, so people were saying like, okay. So I showed it to a bunch of people, and they were like, yeah, you should make this skippable. So first of all, you have to like press on everything. People don't read instructions. I don't. Like, if you put this stuff in front of the game, nobody reads it. I don't read it. So some of the feedback I got early on was, this intro is way too complicated. Simplify this opening area. It's too complicated. It's not the same problems. Alright, So I showed this at GDC. I remember Justin Ma played it from FTL. I ran into him and I was like, hey! Because I had watched his video interview and I recognized him. And I was like, hey, dude! And then I remembered he had no idea who I was. But he was very nice and he sat down and played the game. And I remember his feedback was, he said, I really need to work on the art direction. Because this looks like a bad Portal. He didn't say that. He didn't say that it looked like a bad Portal, but he was like, you need to work on the art direction. And he showed me Distance. An Itronic Rush. But he was like, that game's got a great art style. Yeah, you ever go to board game night and then it's just like 1 hour of the person explaining the rules? Alright, so I got rid of the backtracking, I think. So I got rid of the thing where you have to press a button. So a lot of people were like, oh man, this looks really cool, I want to go outside. And I think I did allow them to do it. Yes. Yeah, not just the cubes, but like the gray walls, the kind of... So yeah, you see, instead of here, I got rid of the backtracking, right? Like, instead of having you come in here and press a button and then turn around and walk back, this just opened up to a new area. And a lot of people were like, oh, you know what? They're like, this is my favorite part of the game right here. Like, looking out the window, right? This part was really cool, so I kind of kept them up. Now, notice these hallways. Remember, like, my current hallways, they always have a window here. But a lot of people would get lost in this because you turn around and then it's like, well, wait, you know, if you're, it's like, well, did I come from here or is this here, right? So it's really easy to get lost. All right, so here was, right, okay. So this was, all right. So look at this. The idea was you had this piece here and come around. Now there's a few things here, right? So like, imagine that door's closed. I think the reason why I had that there was that you could, when you come out of here, you would want to, you see this and you're like, I can't open it, but the yellow box is on the other side and I can't get it. So you go through here, but I think the problem here is that this view is not that exciting. And I think that was one of Justin's feedback. He's like, I understand what you're trying to do, like kind of this foreshadowing, but this view is just not that exciting. Like, if you want to block something off, you should show people something really, really cool. And I think he was like, oh, right, this is the part I can't. And a lot of people would also just wander back into this room. Or they would happen is they'd come in like this, right? They'd come out here and they rotate and they'd fall down. And then they'd be like, where is this? Oh, you know, like it would take them a while before they realized that they'd been here. And I remember Justin was saying, he's like, am I trying to solve puzzles here or am I trying to explore? And he said he's like, it wasn't clear what the room was telling me to do. And he wanted it to be more clear, which kind of makes sense coming from the guy that made FTL, because FTL is like battle, explore. Like there's just these two very discrete states, and he was not. So yeah, that was so that's also something that I've made more clear, where really trying to have the environment tell the player what they should be doing at that point. There's more of a story, but it's not really a story. Yeah, so you see, look at that, right? Those are the guidelines are supposed to be there. Now let me look at these hallway. Oh! Hold on. Ah, yeah, so this is where right, so if you guys have seen the GDC talk, you know that all the windows in the Manifold Garden now are here. They start here, right? They extend out into the bend, and this was actually a feedback from Brandon Chung, who made from Blendo Games. He was playing this, and he came down here, and originally I had this window here because I wanted it to have you look out at this, right? So he's like, this is a very cool view, and he said, shouldn't this window be here? And he was right, because if you're looking down at this, well, if you're not careful, it can just look like a dead end. Like from this, it looks like a dead end. And it's like, why would you want to just walk up and look at this wall, right? Instead, if you made the window extend out to here, when the player looks down this hallway, they see this view, right? So it's something exciting that they want to go check out. So they want to be like, oh, right? And by doing that, I also gave all the hallways a sense of direction, so that it solved two problems, because now you can always you can turn around and you won't get lost in hallways. So here's a portal. This is render texture. Now, this actually takes you to the outside of where you were. So here's a bunch of new rooms. Now, eventually I got rid of this being a portal, because with the portal, people weren't... It wasn't clear whether you were in the... You had gone to the outside of the area you were in before. This was a new world. People... And I wanted... I wanted you to be like, you got outside, as opposed to you went to a new world with that portals, with that. So, alright, so you came out here, and my GDC talk kind of covers a lot of the changes, but, we started to get these, cube dispensers, and the idea was it would kind of lead you to the next place to go to, but, and this does get changed later, because here, at this stage, there was, there was no logic to the way this is designed. It's sort of, everything is just kind of random. So, is this even... Huh. Apparently there's just this big collider that I can walk on. So none of this worked, apparently. Anyway, that was just a series of puzzles. Alright, so... Alright, so that was the version I showed before GDC. Then I went to GDC, and that was all the feedback that I got. And I remember I showed the game to Rami at the time. And I was like, I think I've got 2 years left on the game. And a lot of people, I would tell a lot of people, when you tell them you've got 2 years on the game, they'd be like, nah, you can probably finish it in less time than that. and Rami was the first one to just be like, yeah, 2 years. He just like didn't bother sugarcoating it. He's like, yeah, 2 years. It's gonna suck. The bot knows everything. Stencil buffers or render textures? No, there's not really tips or tricks. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't even say stencil buffers, right? That's all. Like, those are just technical details, and that's kind of stuff depends on how you implement your game. I mean, there's no enable this. Those are all. That's all dependent on how you set things up and how you want the game to be. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is just hard because it's not even non-Euclidean. It's just the fact that you have a different set of physics, so you have different kind of consequences. All right, so okay, yeah. So this is the room, right? You have to open it up like this. Now I still had the problem where this was fine because it told you the instructions at the beginning. But you'd open up this room. Come out here. Start in red. Yeah, these mods are super pro. Oh yeah, look at this. So these lines light up instantly because at that time I hadn't figured out. I still wasn't very good with shaders. So right, eventually we just made it so it got the length and then it was like a percentage and would slowly light up. But at the time I didn't know that. So yeah, I was trying to make something a little bit more exciting. Here's another puzzle. When you have to use 2 to light up. Yeah, okay, so you see this was trying to give a hint to the player that you can lift it up. Like I started it off on one of the steps. And I think when Aaron Isaacson played this puzzle, he was like, this is really tedious. And I agree with him, so I got rid of this. But, oh right, one of the problems, for those of you who played the latest version of the game, you remember that there is a room in the game like this, but the steps go all the way around, right? Because what would happen is a lot of people would try to use the wall to go up, and it was like I just got rid of that. I just got rid of the wrong option. Like I think a lot of times it's not always about. Sometimes finding the right solution is just getting rid of the wrong solution. Like when you just don't make it an option for people to make mistakes. Ding dong. Oh, yeah, huh. Are you supposed to be out here? Yeah, interesting. It looks like I had the, Wait, did I take Brandon's feedback and make... No, okay, I hadn't done the hallway. Well, I did it. So I did it here, right? Like, look at that. I made the hallway kind of bending around. But I did not keep it consistent. So notice that this one you can still go around. What I would do is I would only make it, like in the new versions, you have this window here. But this next one would be here. And this part would be a wall. Yes, but not this. This is wrong. Because I started to use it for directions as well. Oh, wait. Yeah, you see? Like, that threw me off, right? Because... So, this window was in the right place. This one is the wrong place. And that threw me off. You see? Because I ended up going down into the wrong direction. I went back to the room I was in before. Yeah, but you can see now a lot of the... I think the kind of the pieces that became Manifold Garden, they're starting to be here, right? That's white now. You're like teasing the player with kind of the outside rooms, right? These hallways, yeah, you can see that. I've brought it outside. Yeah, see here? Yeah, that window, we're starting to see it now. And that becomes a language that I'm using. Oh, right. I also hadn't figured out how to, like, make bends. So this was just these were just 3 separate meshes. Ah, here's this puzzle. Yeah, with this one you have to be exact. And I ended up making this much lower. I think the current one is like... It's probably like here. Right? Because with this... So this is the height of the current one. But with this one, the green cube had to be exactly here. But when it's here, it's like the green cube's got this range, right? Like you can place it anywhere here and that would still work. What the? Can't even solve this puzzle. Oh wait, I solved it the wrong direction. Oh right, so that was the other thing, right? I also, in the current version, I had this extends all the way up to the wall, and this side extends. So it actually just fills up this entire part. Right. So people can't make the same mistake that I just made. Right in. Here we go. And like here, right, that had the, this is pre-will wrapping. So you can make bridges too. Yeah, they're very. I got them from Portal. I mean, they're now the trees function to be. They do the same thing, right? But they don't. They change the context. Remember, I always really liked this screenshot. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at this. So yeah, see here? I'm doing the window. The window. Yeah, I just made it so it was every single hallway. You see that structure now? That's in the current version, right? You come out, You open up this, you go into the next area. Yeah. All 6 sides are still there. All right, so that is, I'm gonna wrap, today's show is gonna be a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. We will come back and I will look at the version of the game that I showed at PAX East. So we're gonna be looking at the April versions next. For now, we just, we're sticking, yeah, today we did February and March. We're going to do April, next May. So 2014, I showed the game at a bunch of different events. I think that year I did Indiecade East in February, GDC in March, PAX East in April, Indie PopCon in July, SIGGRAPH in August, Tokyo Bit Bash. Yeah. No, yeah, Indie PopCon in June. No, Indie PopCon in like May. It's like Bit Bash, SIGGRAPH, Tokyo Game Show, Gamer Camp in Toronto, Indiecade in LA, and then PlayStation Experience in Vegas. Yeah, I did a lot of shows that year, but it was good. You know, the game improved a lot as a result. So all those cons and festivals, yeah. So that's it for today. I'll stick around for some questions, and then what I'm gonna do. Well, actually, the next stream is gonna be in 5 minutes. I am going to stop the stream and then restart it, and we're gonna do some development. But I wanted to see if you guys had any questions regarding the game, you know, regarding what we just looked at. And, you know, what I'll do now is actually, I'll show you guys some of the screenshots from the latest version. Just so, for those of you that are new, you can see what the game looks like now. Do keep in mind, these are, you know, a lot of these shots, this is like the recent screenshots I've taken, and a lot of them are me recording bugs. So it's like, oh, something's wrong, let me take a screenshot. But you know, you guys get an idea of like how the game has changed. Yeah, a lot of this is like work in progress. These are probably that's a good shot for representing what the game is like currently. Not really. Not really. Anything I removed from a previous version that I'd love to have? No. I mean, a lot of it I sort of adjusted to. I mean, I think the current version of the game is the best version. Oh yeah, you need to just the mods they have to permit you to post a link. Oh, like maybe water. Um, the like the bodies of water. That is one thing that I would love to have in the game. And it's not so much that it doesn't it doesn't fit with the mechanics, right? Like that causes a bunch of problems with gameplay. But I would love to have bodies of water in the game. Current inspiration. So after the next episode, we'll actually start looking at that because that's when I started playing around with the edge detection, and it was. I still have the image saved. Actually, here it is. So I came across. I was looking at architecture renderings. I was looking at old architecture drawings, and I came across this shader. I think it was in VVVV. Yeah, Thomas Eckhorn did it, and I love the look of this shot. So he kind of explained how like edge detection is done. Now he is using colors, right? So edges appear depending on contrast. So yeah, see, this is like where I learned about the depth map, and then he, used the normals to get different colors, combined it with the depth, and then added edges. Right, he also talked about how like fades them out in the distance. Here he modulates. Oh, interesting. I don't think I understood this part. Taking the depth map from the earlier step, modulating it with the noise texture. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so I wanted to look like this. The problem is that this texture, oops. The problem is you either get it only looks good static, right? Because either you have that texture be static and then it just looks like something's in front of your screen, or it keeps getting redrawn every frame and then it's just really ugly. So this was the original look that I was going for, and I remember like taking this picture and in Photoshop just coloring the top surfaces. So this is what I was going for. I wanted it to look like old architecture drawings. Everybody is just like, oh, antechamber. But the inspiration was not to look like antechamber, it was to look like this. But the kind of with this hand-drawn look, the problem is with any of these, the problem with sketch lines is they just don't look great in motion. So it was like trying to do something like this and then getting rid of the sketch lines resulted in the current look now. So, but you can the colors are at least very motivated by this. Anyway, that's gonna be Unfolding the Garden episode 6. So this is slightly different from the normal streams I do, where I'm just working basically every Saturday, 1 p.m. Central. I play through old builds of the game and talk about changes over time. So, yeah. And I'm gonna stop the stream and then I'm gonna start it up again, and then we're gonna be working on world wrapping. All right, see you all in a bit.